My girlfriend, 28F, was making some fairly harsh fun of me to her closest friend, 27M, when I overheard her, 33M, talking to her. When I speak in a harsh way, the word brutally comes to mind. It has been a little over 2 years since I started seeing my girlfriend, Amelia. We first crossed paths in my office. I'm a veterinarian. She took her newly minted city dog in for treatment of an ear infection. What was supposed to be a brief consultation grew into an hour-long chat once we got to chatting. Never before have I been so enamored with a lady. I used to be a bachelor before Amelia. After a while of having nothing but casual flings, I started to feel like I might as well just remain alone forever. Amelia has a large circle of acquaintances and is an enchanting woman. Nathan, a boy she knew in her hometown, is her best buddy. I have faith in Amelia, but it would be dishonest of me to claim that her connection with him doesn't annoy me in the slightest. I don't take it personally or become upset with her since she has informed me that they have always been friends and have never had an intimate connection. I've attempted to form a friendship with him and accept that they are friends since I'm not crazy. And I'm secure. On 3 occasions, he has paid the city a visit. He's a kind person, but he doesn't appear to be too fond of me. Amelia claims he's only being protective. To me, that sounds more like envy than protectiveness. Even though Amelia completed her master's degree this spring, she is still jobless. We have been roommates for a year, and I've accepted that she isn't able to contribute monetarily, rent, utilities, etc. But I'm cautious not to stand in her way of finding gainful employment and achieving her financial independence. Having this kind of autonomy is crucial, in my opinion. I have gently reminded her that once she finds work, she will be responsible for half of the bills. She informed me by text message while I was at work on Monday that she had landed a job. After enduring some really challenging interviews, she finally got the job she had always dreamed of. Because I was overjoyed and proud of her, I secretly left the office early without informing Amelia and left the remainder of the day's work to my staff. I got her flowers, her favorite liquor, and a large order of her favorite Chinese takeout. I got her a lovely necklace a few weeks ago that she had seen in a store. It wasn't expensive, but it had a shark, and that woman is completely preoccupied with sharks. I had stashed it away in the basement with the intention of surprising her with it shortly, after she'd completely forgotten about its being in the store. After returning home, I used a side entry to the basement in order to surprise her by grabbing the necklace. As soon as I climbed the stairs to the basement and unlocked the door, I could make out her voice on the phone. She was laughing so hard, like she was belly laughing, and I couldn't help but listen. I thought it would be sweet to wait for her to hang up the phone before catching her off guard since it was adorable. She was chatting with Nathan, which is par for the course. The two of them do this every week. After that, I could make out the topic of their laughter. I didn't see that she was making fun of our sexual history until after a few boring minutes. She made a comment to the effect of no, he can't even compare to XBF. He was at least 3 inches shorter than XBF. Every time I gnaw on a young carrot in his presence, I feel guilty because I can only imagine how terrifying it must be for him to see me devour an object of comparable size to himself. If it weren't so awful, it could almost be adorable. He has a fantastic physique. In his boxers, that is. Excessive mirth. The opinions of Reddit users about the matter very little to me. How big my member is. What she was mocking wasn't even real, which, in my view, made it all the more upsetting. However, I feel it's vital to mention that even if the XBF was a horse, who knows? I'm still pretty confused. Average. Nothing more than plain old ordinary. I will not try to Andrew myself here. I don't think much of it. Neither is it funny, though. Confidence has always been easy for me. It stands as it is. Her tearing me apart in front of this person she knows I have feelings for was really terrible. The word hurtful is inadequate. She also teased me about how beautiful I was, but how stupid I was. As it turns out, I have a really extensive degree. To put it mildly, I could care less about this. In my heart, I know that I am knowledgeable, beautiful and exceptionally intelligent with a penis of average size. Much obliged. Afterwards, I departed. Was it me who threw the flowers out the window of my car? Yes. In a parking lot, did I cry? Yes. The sound of the basement door closing could have reached her ears. Pretty soon after I departed, she began messaging me, inquiring as to when I would be returning home. Perhaps she even caught a glimpse of my car as it drove away. That happened on Monday, and I still haven't mentioned anything. The way is beyond me. Everything is still a bit much for me to digest. It's quite upsetting and humiliating. But my heart aches for this girl. I don't want to imply that I will automatically forgive her. I simply want to emphasize how difficult this entire situation is for me. I should probably bring it up with her. The question is, how? What do you think would be a good way to initiate this discussion with her? My heart is breaking, and I'm not sure I can ever forgive her. My girlfriend and her guy buddy teased me. Doctor, did you cut my penis throughout our sex life? Decently harmful material. After getting kicked in the face, I feel like a dog. In any case, I'm heartbroken. I had hoped to pop the question within the following several months. I don't know how I can continue to forgive her and be with her now. Any suggestions? Revise. That is. Amazing. Greetings and salutations to everybody. I should mention that I intend to end our relationship with Amelia. Earlier today, I informed 3 buddies over a beer. Their feelings are in line with most of yours. Cut ties with her immediately. To inform my mom, I gave her a call. Yes. Everything was relayed to her. I wanted to tell her the full story. However embarrassing it was. Because we are really close. I've never heard her so furious about anything. I had gotten Amelia an engagement ring, and she was aware of it. Even though it could take me a few days to write about it, I will give an update when I accomplish it, perhaps tomorrow. My emotions are going to be in utter disarray. Once again, I am very grateful for all the comments and words of encouragement and support. I had no idea that everyone would be so enthusiastically behind me. In other news, I, 33M, overheard my girlfriend, 28F, make some fairly harsh fun of me to her best friend, 27M, when we were out for a date. When I speak in a harsh way, the word brutally comes to mind. Alright, kindred redditors. On Thursday night, I mustered the strength to end our relationship. Over the past 2 days, I have experienced more dramatic events than I can ever remember. What a drain. Her behavior became rather unpleasant. Apologies for the length. Far too much transpired. I had our conversation in a semi-private but still public setting per the advice of my family, friends, and brother. I reasoned that someone who can be that deceitful and vicious may try to spin the story around and claim that she left me because I wounded her or something equally ridiculous. Given all that has transpired, I really hope she wouldn't do something so nefarious. It is better to err on the side of caution than when things go wrong. I seriously considered just dumping all of her belongings into a box and abruptly ending our relationship. However, they have been dating for more than 2 years. The best course of action, I thought, would be to approach her coolly and listen to what she had to say. I took her to a downtown wine bar with those cozy seats with partial curtains so we could listen to her explanation, even though it wouldn't change my mind about breaking up with her. Her overly sugary demeanor since Monday suggests one of 3 things. A. She felt terrible for being a jerk. B. She was afraid I may injure her. Or, C. She was aware that I had been behaving aloof but had no idea why. In spite of everything that has transpired, I must confess that she looked absolutely breathtaking in her well-chosen attire. Additionally, she was quite loving and made several racy comments about her future desires with me. It was hard to hear and respond normally under the circumstances, but normally my lovely tiny baby carrot would have been overjoyed. It began immediately after we sat down and obtained our drink because I had practiced my words to her several times. My adrenaline was pumping so hard that I don't recall a word of it. I began by expressing my deep love for her and how she is the only lady I have ever trusted so wholeheartedly because we have a deep connection. I told her that she's the only woman I've ever considered marrying, that I've spent time looking for the perfect ring. I didn't mention that I had previously purchased one, and that I've fantasized about starting a family in the near future. She could not stop saying aw or gushing about how much she loves me, too. After that, I met her gaze and demanded an explanation for why, in all her love for me, she had been so cruel in her mockery of me to Nathan. The expression on her face was quite pleasing, I must admit. She first disputed it and pretended not to understand what I was getting at. She said Nathan is aware of her love for me and that she has never teased him about it. Come on, Amelia, I essentially told her as I stared at her. However, she persisted in her denials even after I informed her that I had returned home early on Monday and caused her pain. Maintaining my composure was a challenge, but I managed. I just informed her that we are both aware of her dishonesty, that her re-Andrews were intolerable, and that I failed to understand why she would speak such a thing to anybody, much less Nathan, particularly considering that her motivation for lying was to embarrass me. She continued to deny it and act as if I were insane. She gushed about how much she loves me, how she isn't unhappy with our sex life, how she would never say or complain about my size, and how her love for me is based on her knowledge of my intelligence and sweetness. If I hadn't overheard her conversation with Nathan, I would have believed her. Her performance merited an Academy Award. When I overheard her, several commentators wanted to know whether I was certain she was referring to me. In comparing her ex-boyfriend to his kraken of a dick, she brought me up by name. Without a doubt, she was referring to me, and she lied to me about it. After assuring her that I would take us home, she could get her dog and any other necessities. The house would also be graced with the presence of my brother and his fiancée. I was hoping that other people would be present to attest to the fact that I did not resort to violence or destruction while letting her recover her belongings. I informed her that I would gather the remainder of her belongings and set them out for her to get any time she wanted. She couldn't believe I was genuinely ending our relationship. She begged me, but I was already dead set on my decision. When she started gushing about her future plans to be a mother to my children and her want to be with me forever, it was impossible for me to hold back my tears in her presence. I didn't feel bad about, to put it frankly, evicting Amelia since she hasn't contributed financially by paying rent or utilities. I am the homeowner. She couldn't stop bothering me with questions about where she was to sleep and what she should do. I reassured her that it was no longer my concern and that she may stay with friends until she finds an apartment of her own. Except for her clothing, toiletries, etc., pretty much all of the furnishings and decorations are mine. In her haste to go, she redecorated my entire house with money that I paid for. The waterworks followed. She began to sob and express her confusion at how I could treat her like that. Countless times, she expressed her belief that I was an amiable guy. I explained to her that I am a kind man, and that's why I didn't simply abandon her possessions on the front yard, change the locks, and disappear without a trace. Then, I assure you, this woman proceeded to plunge the knife even more. She ultimately admitted that she had no idea why she had said such things to Nathan, and she suggested that it may be because being around Nathan makes her laugh at things that would ordinarily make her cry. Like, I don't know, her penis? I expressed my disappointment if what I perceived was her most polished performance. I told her she may return to her hometown and live with Nathan or her 9-inch dick ex-boyfriend. Normally, I'm not one to make nasty comments, but this was really spiteful. Observing the speed with which those tears dried was quite remarkable. She remained with me out of fear of hurting me, which makes a lot of sense, but I'm an asshole. I have no idea how to handle women. I'm a failure. My penis is little, and I'll be alone forever. If I had proposed, she would have rejected me. I am a failure and a jerk. In case I missed her previous comment, she truly meant it when she compared my penis to a tiny carrot. Oh, and I will die all by myself. To die alone is better than to die married to a nasty lady who doesn't care about me or respect me, I informed her. She actually began to yell. A lengthy, incredibly loud scream. No words whatsoever. After describing me as a repulsive pig, she abruptly left, which was rather disturbing. I walked out of the restaurant after paying the bill and apologizing to the server for the incident, but Amelia remained outside, sobbing. I know what she did was bad, and all the things she said only a few minutes ago were nasty, but seeing her in this state made me uncomfortable, yet I still didn't want to abandon her on the street. It's becoming really chilly where I am in New England. After explaining that she needed to move and stay someplace else, I offered to give her a ride back to the house so she could retrieve her belongings. Just as soon as her suitcase was full. After she gave her okay, we drove silently the entire way. The journey was somewhat uncomfortable. We arrived at the house to find my brother and his wife already there. Amelia gathered some items, his wife remained inside, and my brother and I waited outside. She had her girlfriend come and pick her up after that, and everything went by rather smoothly. Prior to her departure, she returned my key to me. Throughout the night, she texted me a wide variety of emotions, from sadness to anger and back again. I neglected to respond to any of them. Instead, I contacted her first thing in the morning yesterday to inform her that her belongings were on the porch and to invite her to come get them while I was at work. It was nearly time for me to head home when I finally heard from her after a whole day of silence. Very nasty text message wishing me all the worst possible things. I remained silent. I returned to a devastated area. Tore everything to shreds. Whether she knows how to pick locks or if she had created a spare key that I was unaware of, she managed to get into the house and wrecked everything. She broke things that can never be repaired. The furnishings were plundered by her. 2 of the sinks were blocked, and the water was left running. She flung food over the kitchen and left my fridge open. It was destroyed. I suppose she locked my 2 dogs in a bedroom to prevent them from eating the food or cutting themselves on the glass, but it was the only thoughtful thing she did. 1 car serves my daily needs, while my second is an SUV that I use for work. If I have to transfer a big or unusual animal from a patient's residence to the clinic, I often utilize the SUV. Among all the chaos, I had completely forgotten that I had given her the key to the SUV, just in case she ever needed to travel anywhere unexpected. She also ruined the interior of the vehicle when I walked outside to inspect it. She covered the interior with tomato soup and flour. In the end, it's all just things, I guess. More than anything else, the idea that she could do something so naive and terrible. Each and every aspect. I am astounded. My house and vehicle were wrecked, and I was wrecked last weekend from going to the play with her and hanging out with friends, playing Monopoly, which we adapted into our own drinking game, watching Netflix, and making love several times. Incredible how quickly things can evolve. Not my best moment, but I was quite angry, so I used Costco's rapid delivery service to purchase 25-pound bags of baby carrots and had them sent to Amelia's friend's house. There are 100 pounds of baby carrots. Timely delivery is guaranteed. Then she texted me a bunch of insults and fascinating things that night. It was minor, to be sure, but the fact that food went to waste is the one thing I really regret. Ideally, she will either cook them or give some of them. That concludes it. Last night, I decided to ban her since her nasty texts just wouldn't stop coming. I have shed more tears than I have in a long time since I am now feeling rather low. I clearly made the correct decision. It is evident that Amelia lacks emotional stability and maturity. I wish she would stop being so mean to me because I deserve better. Since Monday, I've given a lot of thought to my role as a partner and attempted to deduce the possible causes of her evident animosity against me. Here, I will be completely forthright. I am quite busy. On days when I don't feel like working, I do my best to avoid bringing my job home with me and to still spend time with the people who matter most to me. On some days, though, I do. Indeed, I am aware of this. My friend Amelia and I have had our fair share of arguments over this, and since then, I've made an effort to plan my days more efficiently so that I may be home at a decent time and avoid having really horrible days at work. But if you've ever worked with a vet or are a vet yourself, you know that we're always available for emergencies. Occasionally, we have patients who require our undivided attention during the night. Breaks aren't always easy to come by. It's not impossible, but it will be difficult. Even though my team is fantastic and can manage most problems, they still contact me frequently when I'm not available, whether it's on vacation or just out for the day. It's possible that Amelia has felt subordinate to my employment on occasion. Well, I suppose I am aware of it. She has already informed me of it. I tried to make some adjustments, but unfortunately, my efforts were limited. I can't think of a single instance where I was intentionally cruel to Amelia. On bad days, I've been irritable or even non-existent. While we have argued and fought on occasion, nothing major or harmful has ever come out of it. I was under the impression that our relationship was strong and that we were both content. Yes, I was. It's hard to keep from wondering if I'm a disappointment or if her behavior was a result of her feeling unwanted because of my negligence. I am uncertain. Regardless, I am certain that her reaction to the breakup and the manner she treated me were completely unacceptable. She is to blame. I was unworthy of it. Therefore, Reddit, I am grateful that you supported me. The helpful comments and suggestions have been a pleasure to peruse. Eventually, my baby Carrot and I will meet a woman who will love us just the way we are. I ended my relationship with Amelia on Thursday night. Doctor. Was a failure. She went all nasty and wrecked my house, vehicle, and myself. But I got it done. It's over, and she's no longer able to access my phone or social media. In my rage, I also sent her 100 pounds of tiny carrots. I did, in fact, take photographs and submit a police complaint, so maybe the insurance will pay part of the money I lost. Since I cannot provide any evidence that it was her, I highly doubt that the police will take any action based on the report. Attempting to sue her in a small claims court is also futile. Furthermore, I would like not to interact with her any longer. I shall cross my fingers that the insurance will pay for the repairs so I may get on with my life.